Okay, it's time to welcome Deborah Tavares back on the program. She is doing the work of 20 or 30 people out there trying to sound the alarm about the takeover that is certainly just about complete, if it isn't complete already, depending on who you talk to or how you look at it. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, first made popular in William Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse, supposedly a document found in a government surplus photocopy machine, has certainly fit the bill in terms of describing precisely what's been going on for the last 15, 20 years, and continues to accelerate every day. It's not slowing down. We also hope to talk to her about the NASA War document. We might not get there tonight, but we'll get there someday. And first off, she will tell us about the latest from Bilderberg West, otherwise known as the Bohemian Grove. And if you look under Deborah's name and guests, you'll see her story today she sent to me with photographs above and on the ground. And when you look up, it's quite clear that somebody is spraying something on the Bilderberg West meeting at the Bohemian Grove. Heavy spraying. Big hatchwork across the sky. Deborah, welcome back to the program.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. Yes, we were there in front of the gates of Bohemian Grove on Saturday, July the 13th, 2013, the night that they had the infamous cremation of CARE.
Oh, yeah.
And so what they'll see
they can't get
when they
enough of that, can they?
They cannot. It's horrific. And
yeah.
I can only say to you that I have a full report of that event on our website under Breaking News, Bohemian Grove.
Mm-hmm.
So people can go and listen to that. We had a myriad of signage out front of the gates.
Yeah,
and,
well done, by the way. Well done.
Well, thank you so much. And we also filmed the Bohemian Grove police, if you will, hiding in the trees. And they can see that in that YouTube piece as well.
Mm-hmm.
This year's Bohemian Grove was very different in the sense that the main access road had barricades every 10 feet, which really disallowed people to park at a convenient location and walk over to the main entrance. And it turns out that the day that we were there on the 13th, this last Sunday on the 20th, they even cordoned off the location where you will see our vehicle parked. And we have huge banner hangs. Everybody listening's got to get involved. We are in an absolute avalanche of assaults. And whatever issue fits you, you've got to get it on your vehicles. You've got to get brochures. You've got to start passing this out. We are in an absolute warp speed takedown. And I can only say, go to our website, listen to the half-hour YouTube, and watch the police that were hiding in the trees, and you'll see the 2013 Bohemian Grove report. But, Jeff, what I really want to start out by saying is that everyone's got to realize that October 21st of 1945, the U.S. became a charter member of the United Nations, and we relinquished our sovereignty in order to become a charter member. And we no longer have any sovereign. We're not sovereign.
Right.
And our republic has been lost. And we're no longer under law. We are in a matrix under false pretenses, and we have been lied to and deceived. This is what this entire NSA facility is in Bluffdale, Utah, where I went on July the 3rd and the 4th to go there and bring awareness to that massive 1 million square foot facility in Bluffdale, Utah. And I can tell you that we will have on our site, as soon as we get it up there, we will have the last footage of a private vehicle driving up the Redwood Road up to the turnaround at the top of the NASA area. The NASA structure has no signage, no windows.
You mean the NSA structure?
I meant NSA, correct. Yeah. What we were able to film before security launched on us and threatened us with fines and detained us for quite some time was...
Were these more rent-a-thugs?
Yeah, well, these, I can't say who they were exactly. They were working for NASA. We decided to go up there and...
We've got to be careful about saying NASA.
I mean NSA.
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, so they were NSA...
NASA with the NASA War document that we're going to be talking about shortly.
Yes, of course.
But but what I wanted to say
were they
was,
just, excuse me, what was their demeanor? Were they basically just trying to belittle you? Were they threatening? What was their? Or are they just trying to pretend like they're being properly professional?
No, they were absolutely threatening. We drove up from the main road to a turnaround area, and there were only 2 signs that said you cannot bring guns, animals unless it's saying I, dog. They said that you needed authorization. So we went up there to ask for authorization and a tour of the facility. And explained that we were out of state, that I had heard about the facility, and we wanted to speak to somebody that could give us a tour. He laughed at us and said, there are no tours here. We said, well, certainly with 1 million square feet, you have somebody that can talk to us about what this facility is. He said, we're here illegally. We want your IDs immediately. And, of course, the driver of our rental car did give his license, but when he asked for mine, I said I wasn't driving. He didn't push the license. But we were detained for about 20 minutes under threat. He walked around the vehicle writing. It looked like he was going to write a ticket. He was talking to somebody, and it was extremely worrisome because we were being absolutely intimidated, Jeff. And when we finally left, after we were able to get some pictures, some photographs of the bronze medallions up there, that you can only see if you're in the spot where we were, and we'll be posting that. But as we were leaving, they were in the process of building gates and fencing at the base of the hill.
Yeah.
So at this point,
$2 billion U.S. tax dollars at work. Yeah.
Yeah. So at this point, we left, and the following day we did have a rally. It was a peaceful assembly to bring awareness to the NSA facility. And I can only tell you that we marched down the main road. There were literally dozens and dozens of police presence, as well as military personnel, and it was quite a photographed moment for sure.
Yeah.
But of course, NASA is breaking news, and what is so important is what we were warned about in the Silent Weapons document, and this speaks to exactly what Snowden is doing right now. And this is on page 7 of, let's see. No, this is on page 11 of the Silent Weapons document, and this is very, very important for everybody to hear because it says, since energy is the key to all activity on the face of the earth, it follows that in order to attain a monopoly of energy, which is raw materials, goods, services, and to establish a world system of slave labor, it is essential to have the first strike capability in the field of economics. In order to maintain our position, it is necessary that we have absolute first knowledge of the science of control over all economic factors and the first experience at engineering the world economy. In order to achieve such sovereignty, this is the elite sovereignty, we must at least achieve this one end, that the public will not make either the logical or mathematical connection between economics and other energy sciences or learn to apply such knowledge. This is becoming increasingly difficult to control because more and more businesses are making demands upon their computer programmers to create and apply mathematical models for the management of their businesses.
Right.
It is only a matter of time before the new breed of private programmers and economists will catch on to the far-reaching implications of the work begun at Harvard in 1948. The speed with which they can communicate this warning to the public will largely depend upon how effective we have been at controlling the media, subverting education, and keeping the public distracted with matters of no real importance.
Right.
This is absolutely key. And we are absolutely being attacked by a silent weapons system right now. And everybody listening must go to stopthecrime.net to the source documents and read the Silent Weapons document. Because now we're going to also be talking about the NASA war document here in a bit.
Good.
I wanted to set that up by saying in the Silent Weapons document on page 8, It says a silent system is applied gradually. The public adjusts and adapts to its presence and learns to tolerate its encroachment on their lives until the pressure, psychological via economic, becomes too great and they crack up.
That's the boiling frog principle.
Yes. They say the silent weapon system is a type of biological warfare. It attacks the vitality, options, and mobility of the individuals of a society by knowing, understanding, manipulating, and attacking their sources of natural and social energy and their physical, mental, and emotional strengths and weaknesses. And that is what is happening right now. And what our biggest concern at this moment, while they're distracting us with many, many things, is the ultimate, which the elites are striving for, and that's global mind control. And that's where they're heading.
They're on the way. All right.
They absolutely are.
We're on the way to a break here. Stand by, Deborah. We'll come right back in just a couple minutes. This is grim news, folks, but it is reality. Back after this. Okay, back with Deborah Tavares. Go ahead, Deborah. Carry on.
Yes. Well, we certainly are in a silent weapons overthrow right now, and everybody does need to read that document. It's only 44 pages on stopthecrime.net. I want to also talk a little bit more about the NSA facility that we visited on July the 4th, and I want to talk about a little about quantum computing. And it is the next phase of data analysis. And after each and every human being on the planet has been successfully profiled and cataloged in the NSA global data bank, it's simply a practice known as biosociology, or the molding by the global elite.
Mm-hmm.
It is what the global elites have been striving for, and in the Silent Weapons document, it will tell you they were planning the who, where, why, when, and what of each person, and massive data collection. The new revelations now of the IRS is not new news. All of our Congress is inept. They've been taken. We are being run by globalist international banks and mega corporations posing as a government, and it is not. We have been taken, and people need to understand we have lawless laws at this point. When you read the Silent Weapons document, you will find that they put in position in all places necessary to advance their agenda. And when you look at the Iron Mountain report, which is also on our website, you need to understand we're under a United Nations planned occupation of America, and that plan is to process our families domestically, and we are being conquered right now. And even in the Iron Mountain document, it talks about how they are going to circumvent the Constitution, and they have. So everyone needs to at least get to those documents immediately, get caught up. We have been lied, misinformed, and we have been absolutely put in a fear-based reality. That is how this illusion has gone to the extent that it has. The globalists operate on two facts: to create fear that is equal to loss of life and loss of lifestyle, and to massively create and cause disinformation. And when we look at what has happened at the NSA facility, one of the main concerns with this NSA facility, besides gathering data on every single one of us, which is also under the United Nations Agenda 21 or Future Earth Protocol, it's a global inventory, and that's what they're doing right now. They're inventorying our food supplies. They're sending insurance companies out to our properties with GPS devices to locate.
Yes, they are.
To locate fruit trees, under the USDA. So the most important thing is we cannot concede, we cannot permit, and we cannot comply to this massive data collection. We've got to stay out of it as much as possible. But one of the most disturbing aspects of the quantum computers with the NSA facility is that it can interfere with encrypted codes, and all encrypted codes will become obsolete. They say the quantum computers are specifically designed to crack even the most sophisticated encrypted codes on the planet. And this means that if the NSA cartel criminals desire it, they can steal everything, not only all of the nuclear launch codes, but our medical records, our tax records, bank accounts. They say all of this in the Quiet Weapons document as well. So I can only say to you that facility on that mountain there in Bluffdale, Utah, is honkered in. It's about 1 million square feet. It sets down into the ground. Much of it is underground. There are no windows. There are no signs. And it sits there. There are photographs online people can go and take a look at. And we will be posting our personal photographs of that occasion as well. But I can only say to you that there are some things that people can do to get caught up to speed with how they can understand what is happening. There's an excellent movie called Eagle Eye by Spielberg, and that will give people an opportunity to understand the extent. It's called Eagle Eye by Spielberg.
All right.
And it is an excellent movie that will describe quantum computers, and people will understand why we have cameras on every single street corner, on our roads, on buildings. They are everywhere. And this is what the smart meter, the global smart grid, is all about, this massive data collecting. And we must remove these smart meters off our properties. We cannot allow our utility companies to do this to us. These are biohazards. We are being attacked. And the weapon of choice is a silent weapon. This is a quiet war system, and they're using frequencies and data mining. And this is for ultimate mind control. And I want to spend a little time here on the NASA document because I know we've been trying to get into that. In the last few minutes of the show, Jeff, I want to alert people to House government website that we've located, or document. But it's very important.
About 2 minutes to the break. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. As we get into the NASA document, it's important for everyone to understand this was found on the NASA website.
Now, she is saying the NASA, folks, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, not anything else. NASA. All right.
Thank you. Yes, and it was a PowerPoint that was delivered by Dennis Bushnell, who is a transhumanist, by the way, and the chief NASA scientist at the NASA Langley Research Center in July of 2001. And some of the departments that signed on and were participating in this was the U.S. Air Force, DARPA, the CIA, the FBI, Southern Command, Atlantic Command, the Australian Department of Defense, and many others.
Right.
And on page 4, it says, the presentation is based upon all cases of existing data trends analysis technologies. And the whole premise of this document is about robots, cyborgs, and humans. And this is what they are doing. They say on page 9 that humans have taken over and vastly shortened evolution, and they are now planning to have a directed evolution. This is what is being done. They are eliminating us through artificial intelligence, of which the big NSA facility in Bluffdale, Utah, and other locations similar are all partnering with. This is a global brain. This is exactly what Al Gore wrote about in his newly released book called The Future. He talks about the global brain and the fact that it will not be necessary to have as many people, which they don't want. They don't want people. We're too expensive. In the NASA NASA war document, they say on page 66 that increasingly critical are human limitations and human downsides. We're too large, too heavy, too tender. Humans are too slow physically and mentally. We require huge costs. Humans have
and getting slower all the time.
I'm sorry?
And getting slower all the time, mentally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a replacement of humans. We're inefficient, and we're too much of a threat and a risk to the environment.
Well, being dumbed down into oblivion, is that what? That's our species' future.
That's exactly right. And I think people need to revisit the Time Machine. That was an excellent movie. It's old, but it's H.G. Wells, The Time Machine.
Oh, it's a wonderful film. Yeah.
Yes, everyone needs to see that now.
Yep.
because I think people will see the catatonic state, the mind control.
Oh man, they're walking around. They're not here. I don't know where they are, but they're
well,
not
that's
here.
where we're going. That's
Yeah.
exactly where we're going.
All right. Hold on a second, Deborah. We've got to pause. We'll come right back. The NASA war document and more coming up next. Deborah Tavares is with us. All right, Deborah, the NASA war document. Let's go into that in more specifics now.
Well, absolutely. They talk about the use of many attack forms upon us, including an EMP, which is an electromagnetic pulse.
Yeah, a question, please, Deborah. This document, the NASA war document, was discovered? Was it released? Was it a FOIA request? How did we get in touch with these people by way of their own writings? How did we find the document?
Yes, it was on the NASA website. We have downloaded everything about that document so that it can be shown that it was there. And I can say that it was posted there. It was an opportunity for people to see it, but they didn't. And that's why we're talking about it, Jeff, because people were not aware. And people need to understand, based upon the foundation of the silent weapons document, that this is exactly what a silent weapons system will do. And they are going to create massive chaos. That's part of this massive plan.
Sure.
And they talk on page 93 of the NASA document that they will, now remember, this document was released, or the PowerPoint was presented in July of 2001, just shortly before 9/11. And on page 93, they say capture, torture Americans in living color on prime time. They talk about terror attacks within CONUS, which is continental United States, using binary biologicals that they would take down critical infrastructure.
Yeah.
They would use an EMP. They would use frequencies against our
Sure.
brains.
Sure.
They
Well,
would
they're already
conduct-
doing a lot of that. When was this document formally released and put on the NASA website?
Yeah, it's dated July of 2001.
Okay.
And they
Well,
can
they've
go
come
to
a
our
long way,
website.
baby, since then. That's 12 years ago. Yeah.
Well, of course, we know that the technologies have amplified. We now know that, just recently we know that Obama calls on Congress to speed up 100 million next year for mapping our brains. They've already done that.
Yes, of course.
And they anything that they say they're going to do, they've already done.
Basically, you're correct, and that's always been the way it is. They don't let anything out until it's a done deal and it's in their hip pocket. This is beyond an outrage, but what it really is a death sentence, and it can't be read by me in any other way. This is a death sentence for life as we knew it, for people as we knew them. The idea of mapping the brain, that when Obama presented that, folks, I hope you read those stories carefully. This is all part of the Google, and Google is at the foot and the backbone of many of these operations, believe it. Google is the new God. And if you don't think that cell phones and Google and smartphones are extensions directly to God and the ultimate addiction, you have not been looking around you. Look around you at people. What is in their hand? Their connection to God.
Right.
They are holding God in their hand.
And a tracking device that emits toxic radiating frequencies that are damaging our cells. This is another silent weapons method to reduce the population. You have to think in terms of the silent weapons for quiet wars as a plan of massive slavery and genocide. That is exactly what it is.
These people are so, Deborah, excuse me, but I was studying this carefully for the last, couple of weeks. People holding these phones are so indelibly, inextricably addicted to them. There's no way that they could go back to being without them. They're constantly looking at them to see who's contacting me. Have my friends, what's happening? It's a peer pressure kind of a thing, but more than that, it's an acceptance thing. If I've got messages on my phone, I'm accepted. This is the most vicious addiction I have ever seen from technology beside television.
Well, it's creating isolation, and that's exactly what the globalist elites want. They want us to be isolated within our technology. That is the same thing that's happening with the Common Core curriculum, the new curriculum that is going to be introduced from kindergarten to 12th grade this fall of 2013. Did you know, Jeff, that they're going to be not teaching handwriting anymore?
Oh, I know. I've been covering that. Cursive is out the door.
That's exactly right. And, of course, we know that...
Tell them what they're teaching in its place.
Well, they're dumbing down society, and, of course, that's exactly what they want. In fact, this is exactly what is happening. They're saying the aim of public education is not to spread enlightenment at all.
No.
It's simply to reduce as many individuals as possible to the same safe level, to breed a standard citizenry, to put down dissent and originality. They are keeping us enslaved by lack of knowledge.
Right. They want reactive, not proactive. That's it. What they're replacing cursive writing with, and this is not in every school system yet, but it's spreading quickly, is the teaching of little children of two things, two forms of communication: block letter printing and how to operate a keyboard. It's
That's
all
exactly
about
right.
keyboarding, whether it's texting. They'll probably be teaching them single thumb or double thumb texting too. I mean, this is all, it's like a tsunami of technological indentured bondage. The human race is now in it.
Absolutely. And in fact, the Wi-Fi that they're introducing into the schools will also cause infertility. And of course, that is a way in which to curb population. These kids are being exposed to frequencies, particularly the little girls. It is damaging all the eggs. And you can go to smartmetersmurder.com, another website that we're operating, and I urge everybody to take a look at Barrie, B-A-R-R-I-E, Trower, T-R-O-W-E-R. We have his transcribed YouTubes there where he talks about the massive effect upon children in society with the cell phone towers, with the antennas. We are being massively taken down, Jeff, as you know. The cell phone towers are corralling us in our cities, on our roads, causing massive brain inflammation. They say all of this in the NASA war document. On page 50 of the NASA war document, they talk about the effects of low-power microwaves, and they refer to a U.S. Army document, which we have posted on our website under source documents. They say it will cause seizures, it will alter our brain function, it will increase brain blood flow, and will kill us. It tells us that.
They say it. Mm-hmm.
They say it. Lethality.
Okay.
They use lethality.
All right. How many pages is the NASA war document?
It's about 112 pages, and we've got on stopthecrime.net many breakdowns of some of the links and a lot of the information that we've painstakingly broken out. We've dissected what blast wave accelerator is. They talk about using that. That was an invention back in the 40s between the United States and England, and it was under Project SEAL, and it was in 1944 and 1945.
All right,
and they were planning to create, it was a top secret U.S. and British military advancement.
Okay,
And they were
hold
eager.
on. Just a sec, we have to pause here just a second. Come right back. The NASA war document, war against whom? War against you and I. And we'll be back. I guess, Deborah, for most people who always felt or wanted to think that NASA was just your friendly public space agency, they really have to rethink the whole story in light of this document. And it is at stopthecrime.net.
Yes, under
Right
the
now.
source document tab. I also want you into the last moment by talking about war, and I want to just say that on page 4 of the Silent Weapons document, they state that this document is a declaration of war. They say any group, small group with great power and without full knowledge or consent of the people that use their knowledge and methodologies for economic conquest It must be understood that a state of domestic warfare exists between those said people and the group of people known as the public. So we have had war declared upon us. This document was, involved with Rockefeller. It involved Harvard University and the military. And this started back in the late 40s and then was adopted by the Bilderbergs in 1954 at their first Bilderberg meeting. So it's essential to start with understanding the silent weapons document and then take a look at the NASA war plan, and you will understand what they're doing. They're doing everything in this document that they said they would do. On page 43, for example, they talk about a micron-sized mechanized dust, which is distributed as an aerosol and inhaled into the lungs. That they say this...
Micron-sized, by the way, is the size of a virus. Viruses are 1 micron and smaller, generally.
Yes, exactly. They say that when you cut a piece of hair, you can put 1,000 of the micron-sized dust on the end of the cut hair. Just to
well,
get
they call
idea.
It smart dust, but it'll go into your body. It'll migrate. It'll attach itself. It takes up permanent residence there, all over the place, and you are at that point chipped.
That's exactly right. Well, what also the chemtrails are doing, along with reducing the food supply, altering the weather, it is also they have dispersed a nanoparticulates in all of us. We are all have nanoparticulates in our skin. And when you go to stopthecrime.net, you can read more about that. Check out the Morgellons flyer and learn a little bit more about these nanoparticles. But it's important. The underlying holy grail for the elites is mind control. So while we are distracted with the ever landslide of attacks upon us in our local communities, attacking our lands, increasing our property taxes, we just heard here in California that insurance premiums are going to go up because they have to factor in sea level increases due to climate change. So all insurance premiums are anticipated to go up for false, fake science. Our kids are being taught rewritten corporate history. Everything is disinformation. This is the glue to hold society together as far as the elites are concerned.
Nothing is as it seems. You're correct.
Nothing. And I wanted to say, most important, on our website, stopthecrime.net, under Mind Control, we have a document that we recently found. And we've had this viewed by several doctors. And it is only a 12-page document that was found on the whitehouse.gov website. I'd like everybody to go to that. And Jeff, we'll need to probably talk about this a little further at another time. But it is entitled, Realizing the Full Potential of Government-Held Spectrum to Spur Economic Growth. And, of course, that is always the opposite of what they say. This was the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology, dated July the 20th of 2012. And when you open up this document and you see the people that are behind it, these are all agencies of the elites. And we see Microsoft Corporation, the University of Maryland, which are all funded by the military, the Harvard University, the University of California, Southern California University, the Federal Communications Commission, the National Telecommunications Information Association, Stanford, Virginia Tech, and Google, all the usual suspects that are foisting the takeover of mankind. And this is a plan of targeting the United States, the military-industrial complex, with radar. And this is a silent weapons system. And they say the deployment will be in 2013, around September. It's interesting that this coincides with the anticipated opening of the NSA facility in Bluffdale, Utah, which is expected to open in September. And it's not a coincidence that this document coincides with that. What this is this is another method of quantum computers. It's mind theft. It's invasion of the human brain with artificial intelligence. They're going to be controlling your specific thoughts, your emotions, directing physical actions into unsuspecting human beings. This is absolutely horrific. And the map will show people that we have put together The map is included in the document, but we also put the verbiage to a map as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the end of free will as we've known it. And it is on the White House website, and it is a real image of a map that was in this document. And what this is about, we've had a couple of people weigh in, and what we're being told is that you'll see on this map the radar along the eastern seaboard and along the entire Pacific coast regions as well, along all of the coastal states of the United States. And what we're being told is the likely aspect of what they're doing, just as they destroyed our food by stripping our vital nutrients and minerals from our food supply, and then Big Pharma comes in and gives us petroleum substances called vitamins, which is vitamins after vital minerals after stripping it out of our food supply. They're planning to strip the negative ions out of the oxygen molecule. And this will cause massive depression. It will further expand the mind control capabilities, and people will feel sick. And it's very important to watch The Time Machine to understand what we're going to look like. And this is happening. And how do we stop this? Well, I think at this point we just have to massively create awareness.
Well, it's nice of you not to say, contact your congressman. Thank you.
No, they've been taken. They don't represent us.
Long
In
gone.
fact, people keep saying, well, tell your Congress about the chemtrailing and what they're doing.
No.
And fill out petitions. That's all data.
I don't write petitions for that reason.
We don't either. Don't fill out any petitions. Don't fill out any data requests at all.
Not only are they just they're flypaper for name gathering, but they do nothing.
Absolutely. In fact, there are a number of smart meter groups that are asking for people to sign in on their websites if they're feeling sick and the kinds of illnesses they're feeling. Do not do that. Just take these meters off your homes, contact your utility companies, get these biohazards off. This is at your threshold. Minimally do that. But what everyone must realize is we're in this now for keeps. Either we can get some traction of awareness on this, or it is over. And my children and my grandchildren and all of your children and grandchildren they will not survive. They're being culled right now. We have absolute lobotomies being created on our children right now, and it's called the designer ADHD, ADD, autism. In fact, Jeff, I found that IT companies are hiring high-functioning autistic children. And then also, because they're very motivated when they're high-functioning onto specific tasks, and they don't have friends, and they are not easily distracted. And what I also found, which was quite alarming, is in Belgium, the Belgian Parliament is creating a euthanasia for children, and it nears approval in the Belgian Parliament for doctors to mass euthanize autistic children and Alzheimer's patients. So they're creating this society of children, and then at the same token, they're going to allow euthanasia for kids under 18. And we are under such a massive...
Teenage euthanasia?
Yes,
Wow.
Kids under 18. I have that posted on the website. We have a high-functioning autistic grandchild. And when I saw that, it was just terrific. They've created autism through environmental... it's all through an environmental attack. And the food, the air, the water, the vaccines. And I can only say that the NASA document also talks about the mind children. And behind that it says Moravec. And Moravec is a doctor at the Mind Institute in Davis, in California. And they've been experimenting with autism for a long time. They're very robotic in the way that they function. And they don't have the ability to express empathy, which is why they're good hires, and they'll be able to push the buttons on all of us. I hate to say it. But, of course, you know that Bill Gates has Asperger's. He's on the higher spectrum, on the autistic spectrum. And so we have these people now stepping forward and running the show. And they're void of any ethics, morality, any concern for human decency at all. And I can only say that this is what William Casey said, the CIA director in 1981. He said, "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false."
Yeah.
And that's where we are now.
Yeah, well, he knew.
He did know. He did know. And I just encourage everybody to get involved, get bumper stickers, get flyers, go to the websites, read these source documents.
Yeah, let me circle back to this idea of people being told to contact your congressman or your senator. Folks, I don't mean to tell you not to. I mean to tell you not to, because it's a waste of time. You have to become active within yourself and within your community. That's the only way to do it. The national press has been taken away from us. We have no access to it anymore. You know that.
That's right. And I want to say one more thing, Jeff. On the page 13 of that latest government document that I mentioned quickly, the very last thing, it says, "We can't wait. Worldwide leadership is up for grabs and follows the first mover advantage." And these are exactly the words that they use in the Silent Weapons Quiet Wars document. So I can say to you that we are in massive trouble, and soon we're not even going to be able to think. And also there's another important book that I refer people to. It's on our website. You can download it, though, too, or buy the book. It's called The Matrix Deciphered, written by Robert Duncan. Very important to understand what is happening with mind control.
Well, and it's happening quicker, and it's geometrically advancing all the time. And what is the guy's name again, please?
It's Robert Duncan, and it's called The Matrix Deciphered. He wrote this about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. He was duped into thinking he was advancing military. He was hired, a very bright guy, right into the military and the CIA, and he invented quite a bit of the robotic application and virtual reality application.
Is he still alive?
Yes, he is.
All right. Maybe you can help me get in touch with him. I think if he comes on radio at all, I'd love to have him on here.
Okay, I'll work on that. But I can tell you that his book is very, very important. People need to read what is happening so that people understand when you're being attacked with frequencies, that you can understand what your neighbors may be telling you. It's true. It's real.
It's another dying art, reading. And, of course, they're taking that away from us all the time. That's another part of the game. Don't read, don't think. Just react. Thank you, Deborah, as always. We'll talk again. Keep up the work that you're doing. It's extraordinary, and I really admire it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Deborah Tavares, StopTheCrime.net, and that's hour number 2. We will pause and keep the pace right up with hour number 3 coming up next.